I'm Carla Adelgren.
And my name is Ava Lonergan.
And we are the auxiliares de conversación for Nicolás Copérnico for this school year 2018-2019.
A few students interviewed us and we asked them a few questions too, so this is the video. I hope you like it.
Hope you like it.
Where are you from?
I'm from Virginia in the United States.
And I'm from Nebraska originally, but I lived in Miami for 20 years.
Carla, what is your favorite thing about Miami?
My favorite thing about Miami is the weather. I love warm weather, I hate cold weather, and I love the beach.
What was your job before you came to Écija?
My job before I came to Écija, well, I've always been a teacher. So I was a teacher of Spanish and math many years ago, and then I taught English for 20 years. And my last job was, I was the director of the educational program in a language institute.
I worked at an art gallery and I worked in a photography lab, and I'm an artist, so I was also making art in my free time.
Have you studied Spanish before?
I studied Spanish starting in 9th grade in the high school. So I studied 4 years in high school, and I studied Spanish in the university. And I continued to learn Spanish in Miami with all of the Spanish speakers in Miami.
I started studying Spanish in 1st grade when I was very little, and all throughout high school.
What is your favorite thing about Écija?
I think the people, because in other countries the people aren't so nice. I think the best thing is that it's all close. We know each other and we can all walk to every place.
I think the music and the park.
I like summers in Écija.
Oh my god.
Yes! They're so hot!
Seriously?
High five! Yes!
What is your favorite thing to do in your free time?
Sleeping.
Sleeping, okay.
Sleeping. I like to sleep, eat, and draw.
I like listening to music. Dancing.
Dancing?
What kind of dancing?
Mm,
Flamenco?
no.
No?
Rap.
Rap.
Dancing.
Where do you dance?
I dance in my bedroom.
Me too.
Yep.
I love reading and I'm always listening to music.
Why did you want to come to Spain to teach English?
I came to Spain when I was your age.
Okay. No, que te entiendo.
And I loved it here, so I wanted to come back.
The first reason was I always, since I was very young, wanted to live in another country. Second reason was because I wanted to practice speaking Spanish. And the last reason was because my daughter was going to be here.
What is your favorite subject to teach?
Well, my favorite subject to teach is English, because that's my job. So English is my favorite subject, but outside of that, English.
I like to teach art-related things, visual art and art history, and I like to teach English too.
What is your favorite thing to study or learn?
Art.
So I love to learn new things all the time. I'm always looking for something new to learn. I really like to learn about art. No, forget that. Scratch that.
She doesn't like art at all.
Edit. I really like music, dancing. I like to learn about history. I'm just curious about everything.
I like to learn about dance too. I like to learn how to dance.
Yes.
And
Languages.
And
I like
languages. I'm very curious about everything as well.
That's why we make good roommates.
Yeah.
And the last question is, what is the best part of teaching?
Yeah.
Talking to you all.
Yeah. The students are the best part. Meeting the students.
What is your favorite thing to study or learn about?
Me, English.
Me, history.
Me, I don't know.
And I love new languages.
What do you like to eat at the United States?
Well, I like to eat hamburgers and popcorn and pizza.
I like to eat Thai food
Yes.
in the United
Me
States.
too.
Who is your favorite Spanish singer?
So my favorite Spanish singer is Rosalia. I love her music and her videos are really cool.
What type of art do you make?
I make paintings and I do photography and I write stories.
What do you like to do in Écija?
In Écija, well, in Écija I like to go for walks. I like to go walk by the river. And I like to go out for tapas.
My favorite thing to do is go down to the river. That's all that I do here.
What are your hobbies?
Well, here in Écija I was singing in the choir. And I also dance salsa and West Coast swing and other dances. I read and I wrote a short story for the first time in Écija.
I like to dance. I like to read. I also like to cook. Speaking of hobbies, what do you do in your free time?
Fishing.
Oh, cool. In Écija?
No.
Where?
Portugal. Vida real.
Ah, okay.
I sing.
You sing? What kind of singing? Flamenco?
A little bit.
I paint pictures sometimes.
And you do flamenco dance?
Yes.
Nice. Jesus, do you do anything in your free time?
He's a rapper
Yes, yes.
and an actor, right?
Freestyler.
What are your plans for the summer?
I am going to Italy for 10 days, and then I'm going to be a teaching assistant at it's called the Young Writers Workshop. So it's for teenagers who are interested in creative writing.
I'm going to return to Miami and I'm going to spend a couple of months with my children. And then in August, I'm going to China.
What is your favorite place in Écija?
My favorite place in Écija is the river.
And I agree with Ava, I like the river because I like to be outside in nature.
What have you learned living in Écija?
I learned that the houses are very, very cold in the winter. And I also learned a lot of Spanish.
I learned how to slow down. I learned how to be patient. I learned how to live with less. Like I learned how to spend less money.
Me too.
Do you like the food in Écija?
Yes.
I love it.
Yes. The answer is yes. We like the food. What are your plans after you finish Copérnico?
My plans are studying medicine.
I want to study, but I don't know what.
Okay. Do you want to study in the university?
Yes.
Sevilla, Granada,
Sevilla.
I don't know. The most possible is I continue study, but I don't know what I want to study.
Study interest in Córdoba.
hairdressing. Got it. Yes. Oh,
Very
you could do
good.
mine, please.
Yeah, help me to
Help.
Where have you traveled in Spain?
Barcelona, Zaragoza, Logroño, Bilbao, Madrid, Puerto Santa Maria. What is it called?
Yeah. Puerto Santa Maria. Tarifa.
Granada, Tarifa, Córdoba, Sevilla.
Ronda, where I traveled to Granada, Tarifa, Sevilla, Córdoba, Madrid, Puerto Santa Maria, Málaga, Alicante. Yeah.
What is the most interesting thing you see in Spain?
For me, the most interesting thing was La Alhambra and the Mezquita in Córdoba.
I can't ever say it right. Montjuic. It's a big park. There was a cactus garden there that I really loved. That was really cool.
What other place in Spain do you want to see?
I want to go to the north. I want to see Bilbao, San Sebastian, and all of the north I still want to see.
I want to go to Valencia, and yeah, I want to also see more of the north, like the northwest.
Have you traveled outside of Spain?
Yes, this year I went to Portugal, and I went to Switzerland for Christmas, and I went to Ireland and Morocco. Yeah, we went to Morocco.
Yeah, I went to Portugal this past weekend. I went to Morocco with Carla. I went to Italy and Germany and Ireland.
If you were a tourist in the United States, where would you visit?
Yeah, I want to do a road trip across the country.
I also think that one of the prettiest American cities is Savannah, Georgia. I think that's, for me, that's the prettiest city I've ever been in the U.S.
Yeah.
What are your plans for the future?
In August, I'm going to Beijing, China to teach English at Beijing Normal University. And after that year, I want to go back to Miami and be closer to my family.
I'm coming back to Spain next year to do this program again in Madrid.
Okay, you return the next year, but Carla, will you go to Spain again?
I hope to come to Spain again. I don't know to live, but to visit, yes.
So, are you going to continue studying Spanish or another language?
I will probably always want to study Spanish, but in June I'm going to start studying Chinese.
I will definitely continue studying Spanish since I will be here another year.
In here, you study Spanish at the same time you learn English. You go to your house or your flat. It's not your flat. And study vocabulary, for example, because you don't understand the people say.
I do.
She's been better about that.
Because that was my number one goal for coming to Spain, was I wanted to speak Spanish better. So I meet with Rafa Farfan once a week, and we practice for an hour, hour and a half, 1 week English, 1 week Spanish. And so he's helped me a lot to improve my grammar. And I read in Spanish for vocabulary, and I learned a lot of vocabulary through reading, and I watch movies in Spanish.
I think my Spanish has improved mostly by just talking and listening. I bought a couple books in Spanish and I read a couple pages, and I'm going to bring them home with me so I can try to keep reading and learning more vocabulary this summer.
Which is the thing that you are going to miss the most of Spain?
Well, for me it would maybe be more specific to Écija. I'll miss kind of there's like a slow pace here that feels really nice. I'll really miss the river area. I'll miss being able to walk everywhere.
I agree with everything she said, but also I will miss the people that I met here, obviously, and the friendships that I made, and the cost of living, because everything is so much cheaper here than it is in Miami. So when I get to Miami, I know I'm going to be shocked when I buy a coffee or whatever it's going to be. Oh my gosh. Do you plan to travel anywhere in the future?
I would like to go to Valencia because of an internet friend which I have there. And I would also like to go to Disneyland Paris because it's my childhood dream.
Disneyland Park? Oh, nice. In California?
No, in Paris.
In Paris, okay.
I go to Disneyland Paris this year in December and to New York in February the next year.
Oh,
yes,
cool.
you're so lucky.
I'm going to New York this summer because I've got friends there, so I'm going to live in their house for a month.
Wow. Maybe you guys can meet in New York.
Yes.